Good morning, warriors. This is May 20th, 2022. Hope you guys are doing well today. Hope you guys are on your purpose. Hope you guys are keeping on a plan. It's getting a little warmer today, but still very nice. And a little rain here and there helps the grass as well. I put some seeds in, and hopefully that's going to go pretty well as well. Move over a little bit here so you guys can see me more. Hope you guys are doing well today. So I'm going to start to catch up a little bit on emails and things you guys have sent me, and also text messages. And I'm going to focus on one by Dex. So Dex, thank you. A shout out to Dex. And he's made some good comments and questions, and I'm going to try to focus on each one of these as we go along. And I still got some makeup ones I got to do on the weekends. If I get a chance this weekend, I will. We're getting close to finishing all final exams and everything at some of the places I'm at. So I'm trying to kind of get that done too. And then I'll have a little more time to work on these babies as well. All right, so when we talk about this, we're talking about trying to focus on looking at your energy. We've talked about this as far as your imagination goes. We talk about this as far as trying to get away from temptation through through meditation, but using the powers of your imagination and memory in a positive way instead of going back and using in a tempting way. And Dex had a really good point. He's kind of gone back and forth, and he's battling himself, as we all are. And I give 100% credit to Dex. Thank you, Dex. Great job, and I'm proud of your battling on and keep going, and you're doing well. You're going to keep going. And like I said yesterday, I think it was Jackie Chan. Jackie, thank you for your comments as well. Made some nice comments about being a lifestyle, and we talked about that a little bit as well yesterday. And I think he's absolutely correct, as so is Dex, that you just got to keep looking at this as a lifestyle. No one is perfect. I made 45 years of mistakes back and forth, so I'm the last person to kind of talk about being perfect. I think the thing is, what you want to do is you want to keep going towards a goal, and even if you fall back every so often, you know where you're headed to. And I think that's the key to a lot of it. You know where you're going to, and you know that you have to kind of continue focusing on that goal. So when we look at this, we talk about the idea that, and I think Dex brought it up, it's very difficult, especially in the spring and summertime, to avoid not seeing people who are attractive looking. And I think part of this is because of the weather. Part of it is because they're not wearing a lot of clothes. I mean, for instance, you walk down a street, you see somebody wearing a heavy coat in wintertime, you're not going to look at them like you would look at them in a summer bikini outfit or some kind of low-cut dress or something like that. Then all of a sudden, now you start looking at that way. And if you wonder why people look attractive for a purpose, it sells a lot of merchandise. It sells a lot of things like makeup and clothes and things like that. And all those type of things really are focusing on trying to get you drawn in and get your attention. Now, we know that. Now, knowing that, but then trying to prevent yourself from falling into it is another situation. And what you have to do is kind of look and see, okay, how can I prevent this? How can I try to move away from this and not get caught up? And so we're really talking about that you have to kind of get your attention away from the girls, and this is towards Dex and a lot of the males in the audience, and focusing on your goals. And I think he said this in his text message, and once again, that's the secret to a lot of this. The secret is you can use your imagination to set up goals. You can use your memory to go back to figure out what the goals look like. And whenever you get tempted into a situation, you're focusing not on that situation and that girl, or if you're a woman, that guy who looks attractive, and thinking those type of thoughts. You're thinking in terms more of, how can I shift this away? And so it becomes a mental shift in your mind, and God has given us that tool to use, so we're able to use that. And so as you are thinking and seeing all this, you're shifting away from that thought. Now, is it easy? No, of course not. I mean, holy crap, 45 years going back and forth. I can tell you, this is the biggest battle you have in the world. But when you think about the overall end of this, the end of it really is you becoming an excellent, whole, contributing person in society, and that you're focusing on doing things that are good for God's purpose, for the world's purpose, all those type of things. And so chasing girls around, giving attention to them, and maybe, getting something in return, maybe not, all these things are not worth the end result. Now, if you find somebody who you're going to marry, or somebody who you really will spend the rest of your life with, well, that's a little different situation, especially if you're going to have children. If you're going to have offspring, well, then that certainly is a different situation. I think the Bible, my interpretation of the Bible, says that's a different type of story as well. But you're not in lust. You're not in lust trying to chase all women around and trying to, find anybody that looks attractive, right? And this can happen to people. I mean, I've seen it happen to myself. I could see it happen to a lot of people. In your mind, you start thinking about these things, and all of a sudden those thoughts come to your brain, and unless you really kind of counteract those, or you basically focus on trying to get these things, but to look at what is the strength that you have. And I think the strength is the goal setting types of things that you can do. And when you look at those type of things, when you look at the strength, you know that your strength is in goal setting. Your strength is saying, okay, I want to achieve this goal. I want to make this kind of money. I want to have this relationship with my Lord. I want to look this way physically. Okay? I want to achieve these other types of personal goals, career goals, all kinds of stuff. All those things focus on goals. And those goals keep your mind preoccupied. Once again, the mind cannot think about two things at one time. Now, I know this is very practical, but Dex had an excellent observation. If you're chasing and giving attention to women, and men and women who are attractive, they want that attention. There is no doubt. And they're going to suck you in. This is why I call them energy vampires, right? And men are included in this as well. You can have men vampires and you can have women vampires. They will suck you in and draw you in for your energy, both psychologically or emotionally and physically. And they're going to want to suck you in and have you succumb to them. And then when you're sucked in, right, they may or may not want you at that point. And they discard you and you become more desperate. And I've had situations like that. I've had a lot of friends and case studies like that, where it becomes you're sucked in, and then all of a sudden now you've lost your soul here. And if you do this a number of times, all of a sudden you become soulless, and now you're just like a walking zombie walking around, looking just for carnal pleasures all the time and not really experiencing that grace of God. And I think every time you do that, and it's not for procreation, you're basically kind of moving away from your God. And I know that's what happened to me. I felt that happening to me. And so what happens is you have to shift your mind again. You have to be able to shift your mind to say, the goal is what I got to focus on. Let me shift back to the goal. So I always catch myself doing this, whether I'm, meditating, I'm resting, and if I start thinking about these type of goals, I try the best I can. It doesn't happen immediately, but I try to shift my energy and my focus and my thoughts to the goals. And if you keep doing that over a period of time, you get a chance to kind of work at that. I know that being over 710 days or something like that, even at this point, the temptation takes time. And for me, I had 45 years of habit of breaking back and forth. So it's a bigger struggle for me from that aspect. I think since I'm not 20 years old, I don't have the kind of testosterone that you guys have, a lot of younger people. So you're battling more as on the end, and I was there more on the end of trying to control all that energy that you have, all that buildup. And this is where people see it. Now, it doesn't mean that old timers like myself can't go ahead and create a lot of testosterone. We can. But it's not like where you were at 20 years old. And I think scientific research has kind of shown a lot of that kind of stuff, that testosterone levels go down a little bit, at least every year. Now, you can do things in every 10 years, but you can go ahead and do things to try to prevent that. And of course, obviously retaining is a huge factor in that. You keep your energy, you're strong, you're not able to be overcome by these things. And certainly as you're longer and longer in a streak, you're able to deal with these situations a lot better than you were before. And I think that's the key to it. But here again, Dex brings up a good point. You never know when temptation comes in and out of the corners and are going to hit you, especially when you're talking about the being outdoors, being in public, seeing people. There's going to be a lot of temptation around you. But as I think Jackie Chan said, it's a lifestyle, and what you have to do is realize this is a lifestyle. And no matter how good looking that person is, you have to stay focused on your goals. Now, the ironic part of this, because you're focusing on your goals and because you're retaining and keeping all your attention and all your nutrients, you're going to have massive attraction. This is the ironic, crazy oxymoron type of wording here and idea. The fact of the matter is that, as a youngster, I wanted all kinds of attraction, and I didn't get that kind of attraction. But a lot of it was because I wasn't keeping my energy. And that's what that a lot of the girls and women look at. Whether they know it or not, they subconsciously react to your energy level. And that's what they're seeing. And obviously, people, males and females, want energy from other people. Now, they do that through venting and emotional energy, but they also do that through physical energy. And I think when you look at the physical part of things, you're going to get that type of energy flow back and forth. So the ironic part of this is, as I stopped, and I've seen this over the last 700 some days, I've seen this basically happen amazingly, that the level of women attraction is amazing. The wife looks at me differently. All my friends, female companions that I've had in the past, all the people that I've dated, things like that, they all look at me differently now. And it's not just having a beard, it's really more of the energy level. But the interesting thing about that then is that certainly I am not interested in that anymore. And this, I think, is the ironic part of life, that when I was interested, I didn't have the attraction. And now that I am not interested, now I have the attraction. So I just think I laugh about that a lot. But once again, the male should not get caught up, as well as the female, but the male especially should not get caught up into chasing women around, giving attention to women, focusing on just women as their whole life. And there's a lot of men that do that. There's a lot of men out there to do that. And a lot of women focus their whole life on men, and both situations are, in my opinion, incorrect. You have to have your own goals. You have to have your own things set up so that you have your own life. Now, you can share your life, and I think that's what God's meant us to do. And there's roles that both women and men need to do, and they cleave to each other when they marry. And, they need each other. They complement each other. And I think that's what the Bible, that's what God's intended. That this person complements you, and you complement them in certain ways. But having this person be your whole life, I think, is wrong, is too far. You have to have some independence, some ability to be able to create goals and things on your own as well. And I think that's what's also very important in the things that you're looking at. So when we look at this whole idea that Dex gives us, and kind of talking about the fact that it's easy to go back and on, and to your credit, shout out again, Dex. I think that you are moving in the right direction. Keep going with all that. You're making it a lifestyle, like Jackie Chan says, and I think it's important to realize the benefits and things you're doing well. Yes, I know it's hard times sometimes, people, when we relapse. It's not a good feeling. You got to start again, and I understand that. But once you know that you can do it, especially after a long streak, you know you can do it, it becomes a lifestyle change. And I think that's very crucial in this whole thing. So as we look at this, always, Dex and everyone else, remember that the long-term goal is you want to become a excellent human being, a person who is a functioning human being in society, and that can only come really from your journey. Retaining what God has given you and only using it when you're trying to reproduce and to continue to work in this vein. So once again, thank you both, Jackie Chan and Dex, for your comments and questions. I appreciate those type of things, and they kind of give us more fuel to talk about and ideas. And even though I may repeat ideas at times, I think it's important because people keep asking about those type of things. And I know I have a few other ones that I may have talked about in the past, but we're going to go back and talk about those in the coming weeks as well. All right, guys, so I wanted to have you guys have a nice weekend. I will try to do one over the weekend if I can. If I can't, we'll do one on Monday. But have a great weekend, and stay on your purpose. Remember, the long-term goal is that this becomes a new life for you, and a brand new life is what you're looking for. Keep your attention away from the women if you're a man, away from unless you're going to have one person, then keep away from all these other activities and become strong in your spirit and strong in the Lord. All right, guys, battle on. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Battle on.